Hey guys, Pastor Andrew here. I just want to bring to you this pocket-sized answer to eternal questions. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey of giving quick answers to really deep, really big eternal questions. The idea behind pocket-sized answers to eternal questions is being able to give very short, truthful, biblical challenges to a lot of times biblical assertions or biblical questions that individuals have as you're on the go. If you're at the gas station or the restaurant, or whether you're at the grocery store or the gas pump, a lot of times you run into these one-liners or challenges to Christianity. You might not have 30 minutes to sit down and have a deep theological discourse. And so let me give you some things just to quickly give their way to challenge their thought, challenge them where they are spiritually, and move them forward without being aggressive and without being overly dominant in the conversation, but a way to navigate through. I love this adage. I use it all the time. It's better to be a pebble in the shoe than a rock in the path. The idea is a rock in the path, you simply walk around. People will ignore you as a rock in the path, but a pebble in the shoe will make you take your shoe off, and it'll make you get the pebble out. I want to be a pebble in people's shoe as I go on day in and day out. So they've got to deal with the things that I'm talking about biblically. So let me help you with this. The very first lesson I want to challenge you with is a challenge that I got this week. And it was somebody who was doing work at my house. I asked them if they were spiritual and if they, practice Christianity and so forth. They said they didn't really practice it. And so a lot of times my follow-up to that is this. Okay, let me ask you this question and be completely honest. What is the biggest hindrance from you being a Christian or from you going to church? What's the biggest hindrance from you jumping 2 feet into this whole biblical idea? And a lot of times I ask that because I really want to know. It helps me know where they're coming from, and I can never get people from where they are to where they need to be without knowing where they are in the first place, right? If you come and call me and say, Pastor Andrew, I want to get to your house, the very first question I'm going to ask you is, where are you? I need to know where people are if I'm going to be effective in getting them to where they need to be. And one of the great kind of inquisitive ways to do that is say, why aren't you a Christian? What are the biggest challenges you have? And listen, I say to them, you're not going to offend me by whatever you say. I'm just interested to hear what you have to say. It helps me to be able to better understand people like you. And a lot of times, if I'm very calm and able to be, open and transparent, then they'll actually give me some of their objections. So I asked this person, what's hindering you from totally being in the scripture, in the Bible, and going to church? And they said this, listen, among a lot of things, Christianity has a lot of rules and regulations, and I like being a free spirit. Now, a lot of people are going to make that claim about the rules and regulations of Christianity. But let me tell you what this person was saying without saying it up front. Rules and regulations are not a good thing in religion. That's what they were saying. Rules and regulations, specifically in the Christian context, are not good in navigating you in your walk with the Lord. They don't like rules and regulations. Now, let me give you this first answer that I would give. Right out of the gate, I would say, what do you mean by rules and regulations? It's very plausible that I do not agree with the rules and regulations that they are assuming. I don't know what this person's background is. They're obviously not religious, and so it's very easy for me to think in my Christianese that they are speaking of the same rules and regulations that I'm reading in the scriptures. And it very well may be that they are not using the same rules and regulations as outlined in the Bible. Maybe they've experienced with religious people a certain type of legalism. Look this way, dress this way, comb your hair this way, talk this way, do these things, and therefore you will be holy. Or maybe they've just seen a certain church structure, or maybe they've been hurt by church, or maybe their family's been turned away from church. I don't know the situation, but it very well may be that the rules and regulations that they don't agree with, I also don't agree with. And that would give me common ground. So I would ask them first, let me ask you this question. What rules and regulations are you talking about? Like, what do you really have a struggle with in the rules and regulations? And I want to unearth if these rules and regulations are biblical rules and regulations, or if they are unbiblical rules and regulations, and therefore I can reply, listen, I don't agree with those rules and regulations either, believe it or not. I don't agree with those standards as well. And a lot of times, if that's the case, they get taken back and say, what do you mean? I thought you're a Christian. I thought you go to church. No, man. It's not about that. It's really about, and I'm able to navigate the conversation to the cross. Listen, back pocket this. It's phenomenal. When somebody talks about the rules, regulations, and standards of Christianity, you don't have to go on a major tirade on how the law is a schoolmaster that brings you to Christ, and how, Paul says in Romans 7:7, if I hadn't known the law, I wouldn't know what sin is. And you don't have to go through all that. All those things are biblically true. All I want to be is a rock in the shoe, and I can say something like this. Well, what rules and regulations are you talking about? And then I can further the conversation based off of that. That's a potent question. And let me add this here on the tail end. It very well may be that nobody's ever asked them that question. That's a defense mechanism people put up so that people don't go much further than that. And if you ask that question and they've never actually had to answer it, they'll give you a quick and easy answer to dismiss you. But down deep in their mind and in their heart, they might not actually know what rules and regulations, and God might use that to turn over a challenge or conviction in their heart to see what exactly is it that they actually have against religion. So back pocket that, pocket-sized answer to eternal question. I don't agree with the rules and regulations of Christianity. What rules and regulations don't you agree with? I'm interested to hear these. All right, listen, I hope this blessed you. I hope this encourages you and equips you to be able to have some dynamite conversations as you're out and along your way. God bless.